Welcome to the Crack House Chronicles, your favorite true crime podcast. I am Donnie, and with me is a man that was reminding everyone that if you received a book from him at Christmas time, they're due back at the library by January the 14th.
If you got a book from me, it's probably filled with lifesavers like your grandma used to give you.
I used to love them things. I was telling my wife the other day about them things.
Yeah, it was great, wasn't it?
Oh, I've looked for them. Can you find them anywhere?
I don't know. I recently seen where people were talking about it, and then somebody posted a photo where they found some somewhere, but I don't know if that was a warehouse find or if they even make them. But yeah, I used to love those things.
They were great.
Yeah. You'd always get them at grandma's because you had to buy 100 of them, you know.
Yeah, and they weren't expensive, but they were great.
Yeah.
And it lasted you a while.
All them good flavors?
Yeah, and I always get through the good flavors before I got down to the...
Butterscotch?
Yeah. Yeah, butterscotch. Yeah.
Butterscotch I can handle now. Root beer is still out of the question.
Yeah.
I can't do root beer.
Yeah, them lifesavers are great, man.
Yeah, I love them.
Did you have a good holiday, dude?
Yeah, it was pretty good, man. Fairly middling, I guess.
Yeah, pretty good holiday.
Could have been a lot worse, but
Christmas time.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, man. Good time. Family over. Kids was good. Everybody's good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Saw my sister over the holidays. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's it, man.
Yeah, and everything was good. Girls come over to the house. We had a good night. Good day. Yeah.
Good food, and good times.
Right.
That's it. Everybody's healthy.
Yeah.
That's it.
Just a little family time, you know.
That's it.
Got to appreciate a mother here.
Oh, I agree. You got any good shout-outs or anybody you want to talk about before we get going on this episode, dude?
Well, I don't really have any shout-outs or nothing, but I'd like to say, you know, I posted a couple days ago that we lost our good friend Mark Davis. He lost his battle to cancer over this weekend. I think it was Christmas Day, actually, he passed away.
Man.
And, you know, we had made plans to kind of hang out when he got better and stuff, and he just fought like hell to the end, and then it just never happened. So, but anyway, well, I'd like to dedicate this episode in particular, you know, to Mark, and just to show how much we appreciate him, you know, coming forward and telling his story about, you know, the H degree stuff, and then several other things, you know, we've been involved with and talked to him behind the scenes, and then actually having him come on with us to go on Nancy Grace.
Yeah.
You know, and kind of use our platform to tell his story in his own words and that kind of thing, you know. So it was really cool for him to reach out, and then just, I know he really, really wanted to, you know, get to the bottom of that case, and
yeah,
he just didn't make it, man.
Yeah, he was wanting to get better and wanting to meet up with us and have a beer with us and just hang out.
Yeah, definitely. So, you know, really hate that, and our condolences, you know, to his family, and just so sorry for your loss, guys.
Yeah, but he's not struggling anymore with the cancer.
That's right, buddy.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, sir.
Yep. All right, Dale, after this short break, we're going to get going on this episode, bud.
All right, man, let's do it.
All right, man, we're back.
We are back.
And this episode we're doing is first of the year, into the 2024, going into 2025.
Yeah.
And we want to do something just a little bit different, kind of recap, talk about what we've done in the last year of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the things we've done and some of the updates on some things and where we are and what's going on, man.
Yeah, we've covered some really crazy things this last year. We've met some amazing people. We've made some great friends.
It blows my mind.
Yes.
The people we meet and talk to on here and the people that reach out to us.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yeah, man. We made some great friends, that's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, to start this episode out, the first episode we dropped in 2024 was the guy you just mentioned.
Yep.
And before we went into the break, Mark Davis.
Yeah, that was 194, which came out, you know, I think January
8th, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, there was the first one of the new year, and it was with Mark. And it was a really great episode, I think, and I think you guys really enjoyed that.
Yeah, he had reached out to us and talked about, you know, he was on one of the first ones on the scene in the H degree case, and he wanted to tell his story and get it out there because he knew he was fighting cancer.
Yeah.
And wanted to get it out there, man. And
I wonder if we'd be interested in having him on.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, come on. And, man, he's just a great guy.
Yeah, man. You know, we talked a lot, and he's told us, you know, behind the scenes a bunch of other stuff, you know, around town, different, you know, different crimes and stuff going on, and he's just full of stories and stuff, and it just would have been great to get to hang out, but I don't want to try to go down that road anymore. But anyway, yeah, great episode.
You said you'd reached out to some of his family members after his death and said he was really wanting Aisha's case solved before he passed.
Yes.
Yeah.
His daughter I was talking to.
Man.
Yeah, he said that was something he really wanted to see, was them get to the bottom of it and see what happened with her.
Yep. But you know, after that episode, we covered the life and murder of String Bean.
That's right. We met another really amazing guy there with Taylor Haygood.
Man, Taylor,
what a dude, man.
we were talking about Taylor before we got going, and he's just a great guy. I mean, just a
Straight out of Green Acres, man.
yeah, a storyteller,
Yeah.
an awesome storyteller with a great voice.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I could just sit and listen to him talk for hours and just read the phone book to me.
Heck yeah.
If anybody knows what a phone book is, these younger crowds.
Yeah, and actually I went down to the Earl Scruggs Museum and picked him up some stuff and shipped it down there because he's a big Earl Scruggs fan. So and we have the museum right here in town, so I went down there and picked him up some stuff and mailed it to him.
He likes that bluegrass stuff. And,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, he wrote the book on String Bean and sent us a copy. And, man,
Yeah.
just
really
a great guy.
great, full of knowledge.
Yeah, can't say enough about Taylor Haygood.
Yeah, great dude.
But, you know, after Taylor's episode, we got back into our regular routine of covering,
Mayhem.
yeah, some mayhem and stuff, more mayhem. And this was the disappearance of Denise Flum.
Yeah.
You know, her body has never been found.
Nope. Just
And-
found out what car in the field, right?
Yeah. And it's so much into this case, and her poor family, her parents, man.
It's still ongoing, right?
Yeah, still
they're
on-
still trying to dig
Just
into that.
recently, I mean, it's just been the last couple months, they've been trying to get access to some property that they think her remains may be on. This family that they believe is behind her disappearance.
Trying to not let them in.
Yeah,
Hmm.
they're keeping that on the down low.
And while digging into her, that's the one we met, Detective Stacy Reese. correct?
Yeah, Stacy. Yeah, she's all into this. And I contacted her, and man, she was so graciously kind to come on the show and talk about Denise Flum.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. She's got a lot of knowledge, and she's still all into this case and still researching on it. And I heard after we recorded that episode, it was some time later, I did hear from her on some updates, but I hadn't heard anything back from her from a while. She would contact me and text me some things, but I hadn't heard from her in a while, so you know, I need to reach out to her and see what's going on with Denise
Well,
Flum.
maybe when they're getting quiet, stuff's going on.
That's-
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
When they quit talking, maybe there's reasons.
that's the same with the H degree case here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was wide open like now it's
when the
crickets.
search warrant came out, and then bam,
Yeah.
I mean, everything just shut down,
Oh, yeah.
and just all it is now is just
Crickets.
speculation, people talking,
Oh, yeah.
and people ask,
It's everything.
"Have you heard anything?" Yeah, I hear a lot of
I
stuff,
know.
but it ain't.
I was just wondering if it was just me. Anybody I see around that knows that we do this, first thing out of the mouth. Well, what's going on with that? What's going on? Like, well, you know what I do. I mean, I hear a lot of stuff, but don't mean it's true.
Yeah, exactly.
I hear a lot of stuff, but it don't mean it's true.
But after we talked to Stacy Reese about Denise Flum, we got into serial killer Gary Kruger.
We sure did.
Yeah, he's a bad dude, man.
Yeah.
He done some bad
He was a
stuff.
former police officer, right?
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just sadistic, no doubt.
Well, you know, that's kind of what it comes with the
yes.
the occupation there again.
Yeah. But then after Gary Kruger, it was a terrible episode of the murder of Jody Sarin. This poor girl was living on her own, had her own apartment, a condo there,
Yeah.
and she suffered for some mental intellect disabilities, I think.
Yeah.
But she was very high functioning. I don't think she could drive. But I don't know if she trusted the wrong people, but somebody came in on her, murdered her, and
Yeah.
done some bad things, raped her, and just done some bad things.
Yeah, before and after, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they did catch her killer.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when her parents came in to find her, right?
Yeah, they walked in and found her dead there in the apartment.
Yeah, it'd been hard to take.
Yeah. Sad stuff, man. Yeah, but it's just going through these, things we covered this past year, and, we come up on another one, sort of a recurring theme we did, and some that we're going to keep doing. But we talked to a guy by the name of Jason Pergerson.
Yes.
This guy talked to us about how police dogs work and how they're trained and what all they're used for. And I mean, I learned a lot of stuff.
It's really cool, I think, doing these type shows. It's like, we did, with the lie detector, because we kind of try to involve.
It's a polygraph.
Oh, yes. You
I got
right.
I got scolded on that, dude.
As soon as you said that, I felt it.
I got scolded me on that.
Yes. My apologies.
Dave Bryant, good
yes.
guy. Yeah.
Good old Dave. Yeah, to go on the subjects that kind of intertwine with all our stories, as far as polygraphs, and then you're always talking about, police dogs, what they can and can't do, and other subjects, and anything that's kind of connected. We really enjoy talking to the experts in those fields, and doing that has made us even more friends, and we'll get more into that down the line here. But yeah, that was a really good episode, very, very informative. And it's really cool what they can do with these dogs.
Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot of stuff.
And that's just down the road, man. I don't know why we hadn't rode.
It's up here in Charlotte, and he did invite us over.
He did.
Check out his facility there.
Here we sit.
And we're going to keep this theme recurring because we've got some other people we're talking to that help law enforcement in other ways in the background.
Yes.
That you don't really hear of. Right. Some genetic people, some genealogy people. People that
autopsy folks, that kind of stuff.
that do this field and help law enforcement solve these crimes that doesn't get the recognition they deserve.
Very true.
So we want to talk to those people and find out what they do and how they do their job. Really.
Yeah, it's all interesting to me.
Very interesting. And then after Jason Ferguson,
we went way up north.
Oh yeah, we went up to Wisconsin.
Old Plainfield.
Yeah, Ed Gein.
Ed Gein.
This guy, man, he's just
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
The inspiration for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and many, many other films.
Yeah, it was very
Silence
high inspiration.
Of the Lambs, a lot of them.
Yeah.
He was I don't know, I guess that's a good thing for him. He's an inspiration.
I think everybody knows who Ed Gein is.
If they don't, you should.
Yeah, you should dive into that and just keep going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, they're making a new series, I think, coming out with Ed Gein with Charlie Hunneman, whatever, from Sons of Anarchy, playing Ed Gein. It's the same people who made the two brothers, what are their names? Lyle and Kyle? Or
Menendez brothers.
Yeah, them dudes, and then there was one before that he did.
Oh, that's right.
And it was really good, too. Oh, was it the Dahmer one, right?
Yeah, the Dahmer, yeah.
Yeah. How do I forget?
Yeah, he's doing some good work, too.
Yeah, definitely a good series.
Yeah. Then we got into Skidmore, Missouri, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We come riding into this town having no idea what we were walking into.
Yeah, and there's actually some more crimes that's in that town that I'm trying to dig into, trying to find some more stuff about them.
We've had people reach out for that and then chat a while and then go quiet on us.
They ghost us, man.
It's pretty wild. Pretty wild.
We got into Bobby Joe Stennett. Now, this poor girl, man, she was breeding rat terriers.
Yes.
And she was pregnant at the time. And
selling them through a message board or a dog breeder or a whatever.
Website or something.
Rat terrier website.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what.
And the lady was wanting one of these rat terriers and wanting to come look at it. And little did she know that this lady was there to steal her baby.
Yeah, she was pregnant.
Yeah, and cut the baby from her womb.
Yeah, I mean, literally steal it.
Yes.
Unborn baby, but she was taking it with her.
Yeah, that's bad stuff, man.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah. And then we got into the Phantom Killer, Texarkana.
That was good.
Yeah, that's some old stuff, yeah.
Is that the town that dread sundown?
Yeah.
Yeah, from that movie, this was inspired, I guess.
Yeah, I learned a lot.
This inspired the movie, or was it the other way around?
This inspired the movie.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but I learned a lot from researching this case about this story that I didn't know.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. So anybody listen to these, we're talking about, go back and check these episodes out because they're really good and a lot of information that we had at the time. We're just, going over them and all of our recap stuff from 2024.
It's just fun to us to reminisce a little bit too, because like I was telling Donnie earlier, he's got a lot better memory than I do, but we'll be going through some of these things and I'm like, wait a minute, because we just do one and you have to cram, your head full of knowledge, do the show and then immediately clear it out and start over on a different one. So a lot of these, I mean, we did 50 last year, Donnie.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot of cramming and uncramming. So sometimes it takes me a second to remember exactly, and then as soon as we get into it, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I remember, yeah.
Then we got back on the ASHA degree thing. We interviewed a lady from down in Alabama. Her name is Heather Terrell. And this poor girl, man, she had a heck of a story.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
She, we talked to some people we'll talk about later, but Heather experienced something.
For sure.
When she was a child.
So. Yeah, very traumatic.
And Heather, we're with you. If you listen to this, we're with you. And I hope if you find something, resolve your case one day. But she was pretty confident. She saw ASHA degree and David Crabtree in a car. Mm-hmm. And David Crabtree was dead in the back of a car.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this poor girl experienced something.
Right. Yeah, we're not sure exactly, if it was those folks for sure, but I think something 100% happened for sure.
But I will say, we talked to Heather several times before we interviewed her.
Oh yeah.
And
A lot of this backstage stuff's kind of cool.
yeah, and this girl, she was very compassionate about what she saw, and I had to reel her in several times.
Bubbling over emotionally. It was just
Yeah, I had to reel her in, man.
Calm down and just breathe.
Even before we recorded this, I told her, I said, you're doing this to find an answer, and just keep that focus in your mind about what you're doing.
Right.
And don't let the emotion get over you. Just stay focused. But she got through it, and it was a good interview, and this poor girl, I hope she finds out what happened to her one day, man. And then we sort of stayed on that same theme. We interviewed Shannon Cavender.
Mm-hmm.
She is a relative of David Crabtree, who went missing there in Oklahoma.
Yeah, and then that's who you were saying Heather thought may have been in the car with her.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, David...
excuse me.
David Crabtree was known to leave the house some and sneak out, but he snuck out one night and never came back.
Right.
So I hope there's some answers on that one day.
Yeah, it was a great interview.
Yeah, Shannon, I think I'm friends with her on Facebook, and she'll comment every once in a while and post some things. Pretty interesting stuff. But then we got into Skidmore, Missouri again.
This is the big one from there, I think.
Yeah, I think it is the big one. This is
At least it's the most famous.
Yeah, this is Ken Rex McElroy.
Ooh-wee.
Man, this guy, he was just a town bully.
Yes.
Yeah. Just stalking people. People that would do him wrong or he thought would do him wrong, he would stalk them.
Oh, yeah. Intimidation 101.
Yeah, and I guess the one thing that got me was his daughter had went into a store, and they accused his daughter, the store owners accused his daughter of stealing some candy.
Mm-hmm.
And he went in there, man. And, yeah.
It wasn't good.
No, then the next day or so later, he went to the back of the store, to the loading dock, and saw the people there. The man had owned the store and shot him. But he survived.
Yeah.
But this Ken Rex, man, he was just bad news.
Right.
And nobody in the town spoke up after he was murdered. Shot in his truck outside the bar.
Because everybody in the town shot him.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It was all there.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, there's a pretty good movie about that, too.
Yeah.
Brian Dennehy.
Brian Dennehy.
Ooh, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was in Broad Daylight from 1991 with Brian Dennehy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy, man.
Yeah, it's kind of funny to think about how many killers he's played.
Yeah.
Well, I guess at least two. I don't know, maybe more, but yeah.
Then we got into a guy by the name of Daniel Shaver on episode 207.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, there's been a lot of controversy around that. Him had a gun in a hotel room, and he invited some people up from the bar there in the room, and they were shooting the BB gun out the window.
It was a BB gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It looked like a rifle, but it was a BB.
And some people down at the pool had saw the gun sticking out the window, and they called the police. Well, they come up, and they got him out there in the hall. It seemed to them that Shaver may have had a gun behind him. He wouldn't listen to the police, for one thing, and put his hands.
They was all drinking.
Yeah, and then they just opened fire on him.
He was trying to pull his pants up, and they shot the shit out of him.
They did.
That's
pretty much.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, you can code it any way you want it, but that's what happened.
Yeah. Should he have been having the BB gun pointed out the window? Probably not.
Probably not. They was drinking. He had a BB gun, just shooting.
Yeah.
Wasn't thinking, and then somebody downstairs really took it to, to the extreme. Which can you blame them? Not
I
really.
probably would have done the same thing.
These days, no, not really. But yeah.
Somebody's got a gun pointed out the window. You need to do something.
Right.
And I get it. I get it.
They did something. It was
yeah.
Whew.
And then we went back to Skidmore after that.
Right.
On episode 208. We did an episode on Branson Perry.
We did.
Now this guy, he went missing. Broad daylight. He just walked off. Now I had reached out to the lady that was his best friend that was there at his house.
When that happened?
Yeah. And she wouldn't talk.
Mm-mm.
She replied back to me, but she wouldn't do an interview.
Right.
Yeah, she'd been, I guess, advised by the authorities there not to do interviews, or maybe under some kind of gag order. I don't know.
Or just scared. There's a lot of shit goes on.
I think there's a big drug problem out there, and people are scared to talk.
Yeah. at least.
Yeah, I think so. But Branson Perry is still missing from Skidmore, Missouri. So, yeah, check that episode out. It's episode 208. Pretty fascinating. Then we come back to Close to Home on episode 209, man. We talked about a guy by the name of Daniel Prince.
Yeah, serial killer.
Yeah, from just right up the road.
Yeah, it ain't far at all, is it?
Now, I rode by his house where he lived over in Boston, North Carolina. And this guy, he'd preyed on older women.
Yes.
Yeah, he did. And pretty bad dude. He's in prison. He's not getting out.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
It's too close.
Yeah, very, very close to home. And then we got into the Tom Mon files.
Yes.
On the next couple episodes after that.
We did.
Yeah, episode 210 and 211. On episode 210, we covered the story and talked about Tom was...
Mysterious death, found him in that vat.
Yeah, pulp vat.
Big pulp vat.
Yeah, he worked at the paper mill.
Mm-hmm. In Wisconsin, yes.
Yeah, couldn't find out who put him in there, if he committed suicide. And then after that, we talked to a couple of guys who do the Mon Files 6 podcast. They're from up there in Wisconsin.
Yes.
And these two guys, they have a podcast, and they're covering that.
Just that, right?
That's their podcast. They just cover Tom Mon Files' death.
Right.
And these guys are pretty cool. Check them out. It's the Mon Files 6 podcast.
Yep, we went over well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they're taking a deep dive and trying to find out if he committed suicide or somebody threw him in there.
I don't think he killed himself. Sorry.
Yeah.
I can't prove somebody else did it, but there's no way I'll ever believe he killed himself.
Well, all I know is something happened at the Bubbler.
Yes, at the Bubbler.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yep. Anyway, after the Mon Files...
You got your scorecard out, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Randy Stephen Kraft.
Mm.
This guy was bad news, man. Well, all of them are bad news, but...
Yeah, but there's a couple here coming up or just get rough.
Yeah, they're pretty rough. He kept a scorecard of all of his victims.
Yes.
Who they were, and it was like little cryptic details he had about them.
Yeah, he didn't have their name, this and that other. Just like whatever it could be, like where he found them or what store it was or stuff like that.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
But they could put it together, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, they found out who it was, and they found the scorecard in the trunk of his car under the spare tire. Yeah,
don't leave home without it.
Yeah. And then we got into Blanche Taylor Moore, North Carolina lady.
The Black Widow.
Yeah, she
dun, 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 dun.
serial killer lady, killed some husbands.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie, they made a movie about it, and it was portrayed by Elizabeth Montgomery.
Oh, Bewitched chick.
Yeah, really good movie, but Blanche Taylor Moore went to prison for her crimes, killing some husbands.
You'll get that.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I can't even imagine. Then we got into back to the Mon Files.
Yes.
Tom Mon Files. We talked to a guy by the name of Joe Vertigan.
We sure did.
And he's an author from Wisconsin. He wrote a book on it. And I think the guys that had the podcast actually had him on their show after that. They talked to him.
We just passed him around.
Yeah, we just passed him around, yeah, like a little child. But Joe Vertigan, very knowledgeable guy, and he's researched the case and had a lot of good information for us. This episode 214. Go check that out.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty interesting.
Very.
And then, man, after that, we had a two-parter.
Woo!
A two-parter. This is William Bill Bonin.
This is a gore galore.
Yeah, he was known as the Freeway Killer.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he was picking up young guys, torturing and murdering them, and just doing some sadistic stuff, man.
Yeah, he was rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty bad stuff. We ain't going to get into all that. You can go listen to episodes.
Yeah.
Episode 215 and 216. Listen to all the gore and all that.
Yeah, buddy. That's what they need to do is a movie on that.
Yeah.
I think these other dudes are bad.
And then we had our good friend on episode 217. We had Karen Stark.
Oh, man. What a lovely breath of fresh air.
This lady is just awesome. She is a psychologist. She lives in New York. And she's just world renowned on her psychology work.
Yes.
And she instantly became a friend of the show.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And she came on the show to talk about Aisha Degree and what she thought. I was blown away at the research she had done on Aisha Degree coming into this.
Yeah, because when you first got her to come on the show, I'm like, so what are we going to do? And you're like, well, I think we're going to do Aisha. I'm like this. And then when we got back in touch with her, she knew this case.
She did.
Yeah.
That blew my mind. She knew more about just as much as we did on it. And she gave her thoughts on it. And I'll just put it out there. She In her mind, Karen thinks that it's just inconceivable for a 9-year-old to be able to leave the house in the early morning hours with no coat on her own.
Right. But she also didn't think it's anything to do with the family.
Yeah. So it's a mystery.
Yeah,
but Karen's an amazing lady, and check out her website, KarenStark.com. She's a pretty smart lady.
Very, very much. I talked to her today, actually.
Oh, very, very cool.
Yeah. She is a great friend, and I think we should have her back at some point to talk about another case. But,
yes.
or something, because, anyway. She's done a lot for us, and we'll get into that.
Oh, yeah. And then we got into a lady from Charlotte that's missing. This is Kristen Modafferi. This is episode 218. And this girl was beyond her years or beyond her youth. She had graduated high school and wanted to trek out on her own a little bit and do some traveling.
Mm-hmm. Wanted to go do some photography work.
Yeah, she was big into photography. She wanted to go to San Francisco.
Yeah.
And she got into some trouble out there. Well, she didn't get in trouble. She just, I guess, met up with the wrong people.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, and just went missing. Yeah.
But, we have that a lot.
Yeah.
We'll get someone, just brilliant person, with way over normal smarts, and just doing this and accomplishing all this stuff and then just gone.
Yeah. And I'll go ahead and put this out there. We contacted a guy who represents the family. He's done a lot of research for the family, even moved out to California to investigate Kristen's case.
Yeah, he did a lot. He even lived in a van trying to, just to be able to stay out there longer to see if he can find out what happened.
Yeah, even got a membership at the YMCA to be able to take a shower.
Right.
Yeah, cheap shower. But I reached out to him and talked to him a couple times, and he agreed to come on our show.
Oh, yeah.
We hadn't put this out there. And he come back to me and called me just out of the blue and said, I can't do your show. I'm like, why not? He said, we just don't like the name of your show. The name of our podcast, Crack House Chronicles. He thinks it's offensive. People might get the wrong idea. I'm like, okay, dude. So I wish him well, and I hope he, we give him a platform to be able to talk, and that was that.
Right.
But that's the end of that. But anyway, we got into a lady by the name of Cassie Jo Stoddard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now this poor girl, she was babysitting.
Oh, man.
Yeah, doing some babysitting. Very dependable girl. Everybody got her to babysit family, but she was actually keeping their pets.
She was house sitting.
Yeah, pretty much. And keeping their dogs and cats. And the family had gone out of town on a vacation.
Yes.
And some friends had come over she invited and told about, and they came over and spent some time, and then they left.
Right. I think her boyfriend, she invited her boyfriend to come over and watch some movies and stuff, and she had permission for this. And then I think a couple other friends kind of invited herself to come over and hang out for a little while, and then they left.
They did?
Or at least we thought they left.
Well, actually, they did leave, and then
went down the street,
and then came back and had on some masks and
come in through the basement or something.
Yeah, they
while they were there. Yeah, while they were there, they went down to look around the house and conveniently unlocked the door so they could get back in later. And they left and then snuck back in the basement.
Turned some breakers off, make the power flicker on and off.
Yeah, like a real live horror movie, and we're videoing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the boyfriend had already left. And he tried to get her to go back to his house, but she said, "No, I've got responsibility here to take care of the house and to watch the animals." So she stuck to her guns and stayed at the house. Yeah. And them two guys ended up murdering her.
Yes.
And videoed
it.
Yeah.
Like it was a damn Scream movie or something.
Yeah. Those two guys were in prison.
Yeah.
And you getting out. Then we got into a murder of Mandy Stavik.
Yes.
This poor girl. She was on a run. She was home for Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
She was on a run. She was very, very athletic. Played like 5 sports. Basketball, track, softball, done several things. And she was out for a run and...
never came back.
No. Was nabbed up, and it went unsolved for like 20-something years or more. Yeah, and it was solved through DNA.
Yes.
A guy that just lived down the street that never submitted DNA. I think the authorities went around town just asking people to submit DNA.
They overlooked that house. I can't remember what the reason was, but they overlooked that house, and then they figured out later on why, I think. But
yeah.
But they got him.
Yeah. But he's in prison, ain't getting out.
Yeah.
He's done. And then we got into
Ooh-wee.
a girl from South Carolina, just across the border down here, Elizabeth Schoaf. And
What a damn trooper.
This girl was kidnapped and held in an underground bunker for a week. Yeah, and raped and just
pillaged.
Yeah, just made to do whatever.
Right.
Yeah, and this girl, I mean, she befriended her captor and just made like she cared for him and was worried about him.
She's so smart, she flipped the mind game around on him.
She really did.
What she did.
She did.
And he bought it.
Yeah, hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
Yeah. But her kidnapper is in prison. He's not getting out. But yeah, that's a girl that survived. She saved herself.
Yeah.
The police didn't do anything. I mean, they were out looking for her, but she saved herself.
I mean, it was a hell of an underground bunker. It's not like they didn't look. They walked up probably right over it, you know. So they're out there looking. She was just smart enough to, and she basically talked him into leaving her there and leaving and running to get away.
And said, I'll meet up with you.
I'll meet up with you later. We can't be caught together.
He bought that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
yeah, that's a great story and a good survival story, man.
Great episode. That's 221.
Yeah, good episode. Then we got to our old buddy David James.
We did.
Yeah, we had him back on the show. We had him on previously the previous year, but we had him on episode 222 to talk about how the police work with the Secret Service.
Right. It's kind of like after the assassination attempt, I think.
Yeah, of Donald Trump.
Right. So we got to talking in about how do local police and Secret Service and how do they intertwine their coverage and how all that works. Because that's just something that appealed to us about, well, how does that really work? I mean, do they come in and take over? They split the duties? You know, that kind of thing.
Well, David had some experience when George W. Bush came to North Carolina to Gaston County. And he had some experience working with the federal government and the federal authorities on his detail.
Yes. So
yeah,
a little backstage, a little hint there.
Yeah. So kudos to
behind the curtain gimmick.
Our buddy David James. He texts us pretty regular. We got to meet up with him again. He's wanting to have some lunch again and talk about some stuff.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Then we got into a case that I have submitted FOIA requests for. I ain't got anything back on it.
That's been long.
It's been a while. This is Frances Dale Apperson. This lady went missing up here in North Carolina. She was from Charlotte and went missing.
Up at the Limble Gorge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Left her car and was just gone.
No, this is the one that had went to eat at Boone and then or at least had a receipt from there.
Well, she went to a little town of Banner Elk.
Banner Elk. Okay.
Yeah, she ate at a cafe there.
That's what I was thinking, Boone.
Well, it's about the same thing.
Okay.
And ate at a cafe and then went to the Limble Gorge to hike.
She drove up from Charlotte, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it'd been really a weird way to go.
And she was supposed to meet some family.
Yes.
And then, I don't know if they never connected up, but she just went missing, man.
Yeah, basically found her car and that was it.
I need to check on that FOIA request to see what we can find out about that.
Yeah, it's strange you hadn't heard anything. It's been a long time.
And I did reach out to some family members. I hadn't heard anything back. And there's a Facebook page for her. I've messaged that Facebook page. Hadn't got anything back. Several avenues I've looked into to try to talk to somebody about this, and I hadn't got anything back. So maybe something down the road we'll
find out something.
Yeah. Then we got into a case that's still in the news, actually. There's been some updates on it.
Yeah.
We got to talking about the death of Ellen Greenberg.
Oh, now Ellen's the one they said stabbed herself 20-something times.
Yeah, in the back of the head and her back.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
I ain't buying that either.
This
she's a beautiful lady.
Yeah. I think it was her fiance that was there with her.
Mm-hmm.
And tried to bust the door down. Where he busted the door down, and he come in and she'd been stabbed. And he's just like, oh my gosh, she stabbed herself. Yeah. This girl, she didn't stab herself.
There's no way.
No. Yeah. So
if you're going to kill yourself, stabbing yourself with a knife is not going to be in the back of the head.
No, not at all.
I ain't buying it.
But hopefully, there's some updates on this, so maybe we'll hear something on that.
Wasn't her parents trying to get her to flip the
yeah, to from suicide to
unknown or something?
Undetermined.
Undetermined, yeah.
They're trying to get that right now.
At least get it to that.
Yeah.
Right.
So the case will be opened back up.
I'll agree 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. It needs to be something done on that. Then we got into the zip gun bomber.
That was a wild.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, it was. Guy sending out, it's kind of like mail bombs, but they were zip gun bombs.
Yeah.
They open them up and they explode.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Send shrapnel everywhere.
Right.
Bad stuff, man. Check that out. That's episode 225.
Pretty wild, pretty wild.
Yeah. Then we got into...
Ooh-wee, we got into the dozer.
Yeah, Marv Heemeyer.
Yes.
This guy, man, he went on a rampage in Colorado.
Yes.
And just wreaked havoc on the town, man.
Yeah, just bulldozing the town.
Yeah. Made this bulldozer, this big giant bulldozer. He armored it up.
Yep.
Lined it with concrete.
And then more armor.
Yeah.
I don't even know how it moved. It had to be so heavy.
I know, but he wreaked havoc on this town, but didn't kill anybody. He shot at some people, shot at some officers,
Mm-hmm.
and tore up some buildings, millions and millions of dollars worth of damage. But
Right.
Marv ended up taking his own life there inside that killdozer after it got hung up inside a building.
Yeah, and we had Arthur Patrick Brower on there with us. Join us on that episode. He is the author of the book of the killdozer, and he was there when it happened. He was working in the newspaper right there in town, out there right when it was going on. So
yeah, he got out of the
first-hand
newspaper
knowledge.
office right when it happened.
Yeah,
he barely got
actually,
out.
he was trying to run in there to get to save stuff. Running in the back door when they're telling him you can't go in there to try to save files and stuff.
Yeah, crazy, man.
Hmm.
Then we got into Mary Collins.
Mary Collins.
This girl was from Charlotte. She trusted some people.
Yes, she did.
Yeah. And this hadn't been too long ago. And the ones that are responsible for it, I will say that there was a girl there that we said in our episode, I can't remember her name right off. If you can remember it, jump in there. But she was there, and I'm sure she was part of it, but I don't think, we said in there that she didn't have a big a part as the other two people.
You mean the girl from South Carolina?
Yeah, the one from South Carolina. And the folks or the family of Mary Collins listened to our episode, and I think they commented and said she's just as guilty as the rest of them. But I still hold out on that. She is guilty, no doubt. It's a felony murder.
Yeah, well, she was stabbed 133 times, so...
Yeah, and stuffed inside a mattress,
Yes.
inside trash bags, so she wouldn't leak out everywhere. Poor girl. But yeah, she trusted the wrong people, and her case is still really ongoing. James Salerno, he had bond set at $250,000, and he posted the bond and was released. But Mary, she was a 21-year-old, and she had some intellectual disabilities and stuff, but she was very high functioning.
Yeah.
And we mentioned the girl that was there. Her last name was Deal, America Deal.
Yes.
She was from South Carolina, and
You think maybe she was just with one of them dudes when they showed up
I think so.
and really didn't know the plan?
Yeah,
It's possible.
I think it's possible.
Yeah, but it's kind of like the way it is if you're there, you're there.
Yeah, you're there. You're part of it, no doubt. You could have left and reported it. And then we had a big thing happen here in Cleveland County. There was a big update, man,
Oh, man.
on the Aisha Degree stuff. There was a search warrant that was issued on Roy Lee Dedman, his property there on Cherville Highway.
Yes.
And we got to focusing in on that pretty heavily.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we talked about the search warrant, and we went through an episode of the search warrant. We talked about that, everything that was in the search warrant. And, like we said, after all that, it just got quiet.
Right.
I mean, there's nothing. All you hear now is just people speculating on what happened to Aisha Degree.
Right.
There's no official word coming out.
Right. And we did that big update case. Well, it wasn't that big, but it was 20 minutes, but it was an update of what was going on. And then when the search warrants dropped, I went to the courthouse and got one, and we did a show on that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that same day that them warrants dropped, we had something big happen to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, as we were talking earlier, when I said Karen Stark, it was really done a lot for us. We were talking to her during the updates because after she did the show with us, she was kind of involved, and so I was sending her updates as we were getting them. And then we got to, aggravating her a little bit, so why don't you and Nancy come down here and do a show, and we know you guys can get some answers for us,
Nancy Grace.
Yeah, and I said, man, you can just be the Karen Stark show.
Oh, yeah.
And she laughed. She said, well, maybe it could be Karen in the Crack House show. And I was like, oh, yeah, that'd be even better, So we just kind of laughing and going about it. Well, a little bit later that day, she texted me, and she said, maybe Nancy Grace would like to do this story. I was like, okay. And she goes, he can probably have you on. I'm like, what do you mean have us on? She goes, yeah, probably so. She said, nothing nothing, is in the works or nothing, but, it could happen. I'm like, so I told my wife, because she's a huge Nancy Grace fan, because her mother was a Nancy Grace fan. They all watched it all the time, right? So we go and all said, Dad, wouldn't that be cool? Anyway, so we're laughing about it. Well, the next day at work, I get a phone call. No, I get a text. No, it was a phone call. So the next day at work, I get a phone call. I look down, and it's Karen calling.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, hey, how you doing? She goes, oh, great. She goes, well, they want to do it. I said, they want to do what? They want to have you on the show. I'm like, what? So that's how it kind of got dropped on us, that Karen had mentioned it to Nancy when all this was going on, and Nancy and her team wanted to do the show. And us and Karen.
And Nancy's producer, Jackie Howard, she wanted to do it, and then the guy who does the show for him, I think he's like their editor, and he does everything. His name was Holden Zappel.
Yeah, well, Karen says, you need to tell Donnie to give me the phone number for you to go call. And she says, you need to call them so they can get all the stuff, all the legal things out of the way, and then get, permission to use clips from our show and this kind of stuff. We're like, okay, so you need to call them, and then they'll go from there. I'm like, okay, cool, this is amazing. So I'm just over tripping out, on the phone, just shaking, whatever. And I go over to Donnie and I tell him. He goes, oh, man, well, maybe I'll call him, after work or whatever. Okay. So we stand there for about 30 seconds maybe. And he goes, should I call him now? I was like, hell yeah, you need to go call him right now.
And this turnaround on this was fast.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was fast.
This is a Thursday when all this was happening. I text her the Wednesday that night or whatever, or she had texted me or whatever at home. And got the call on Thursday, and then you called them, and then they called you back, and then somebody else had to call, and it was just crazy, getting us terrified.
We had to sign some legal documents for them to be able to use our content on the show. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
which was that's cool. Yeah,
and then that same show was like Kathleen Murphy. She's an attorney. And our buddy Mark Davis, he was on there with us, which was really cool. I think, especially what we know now, it was really cool for him to be on the show with us. Of course, Karen was on there. Renowned TV and radio trauma expert and consultant psychologist. Rick Schaefer was on there with us, retired FBI supervisory special agent, and of course us, Donnie and Dale, host of Chronicles, true crime podcast. So it was really cool to have that on there, and that experience was pretty wild. And a lot of people ask me, what do you think about the Nancy Grace thing? I said, well, it was terrifying to me because, as soon as we had heard the news that we were going to be on there, right then I was just like, oh my gosh, this is real all of a sudden. It's not just it might happen or whatever. So I'm terrified, and Donnie's like, I don't know what's wrong. I don't know, it's going to be fun, blah, blah. And he just going and on and on. Well, they tell us Thursday that this is happening Monday morning. So we're like, oh man, you be on this, be, strict time, be there at certain time, be ready to record, and we're going to do a sound check and all this stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I get up Monday, and I'm like, oh hey, can I come over to the studio, and Donnie's all to hell. The one that been telling me it ain't gonna be nothing to do, it's just us talking, he's all to hell.
Yeah, my nerves got all the pieces by then, because it's getting down to crunch time and getting all the technology ready for this, and
trying to set up the cameras and trying to get it the right angle and the right look and the lighting and
the sound and everything.
It was hilarious.
And we had a time to be on call, on standby,
right,
for this, and we were there, we were waiting, but they kept getting pushed back because the Nancy Grace show, Crime Stories of Nancy Grace, kept having some technical problems.
Yeah, some sound issues. I think they had just implemented a new sound, some kind of sound
system
or something. So they're having to get the bugs out.
Yeah, and they still hadn't got the bugs out.
No.
And then we finally got the cue, got the text.
Yep, here we go.
Be standby, and we had the computer up, ready to go.
So we had to come up there, and then they do a little thing where you get in frame, so they can make sure everything's in frame when they're going back and forth. It was really neat to see the kind of
the background of it, behind the scenes,
thing. And then we're sitting there getting ready, scared to death, don't know what's going to happen. And then Nancy pops up on the screen.
Yeah,
and she's talking to us, and somebody's poofing her hair up, and the whole time while she's talking to us, and
just chit-chatting.
Just
how is everybody?
Yeah, everything going, glad you're here, blah blah blah. So going around the horn, speaking to everybody. And then when it was about ready for showtime to go, it was a whole different story.
3, 2, 1, bam.
Bam.
It was a whole different attitude then. Yeah.
And it's kind of like how Nancy does, she's surely in charge of the show. She's calling all the directing points and everything.
It's her show, man.
Yeah, run this, run that, do this. I mean, the whole time while hosting the show and cutting in clips. But while she's talking, and you're sitting there like, because there's so many of you, you're just sitting there, and all of a sudden she's like, gets through with this talking point, and then, so what say you? And it's you don't know who she's coming to.
No.
Nothing was planned. It's just kind of like, answer now.
Yeah, and by gosh, I was the first one she went to.
Yeah.
No, I went to it, and she come to me and talking about Ace degree and tell us about the morning she went missing. So I come in, and we were told going into this, don't start out with, hey, Nancy, thanks for having us on your show. We're glad to be here.
Keep all that out.
Keep that out. We it's a time frame, and just get to the point. So, I got to the point. And the first word out of my mouth was, yeah.
And the thing is like, it was also, if she asks you something, say what you know. If you don't, say you don't know.
Yeah.
That didn't go over good either, did it?
No, it didn't go over too well at all. But there was a lot of things we did in the show that didn't make the show.
Oh, my
yeah, there was
God.
a lot of back and forth and technical problems, and Lord have mercy.
There was this one time, I'm just going to go ahead and say, because we're sitting here, it's probably about midway through, I'd say, maybe, yeah, probably so. Anyway, we're talking about stuff, and she's kind of asking about the local area and how it is and how far from where, like, the sign is on 18, or
what it looks like, yeah.
Where she went, disappeared, down to where the Spakes place is down there.
Yeah, across from Roy Lee Dedman's property. And let me just say this right here. It's no disrespect to the Degree family or anything like that. This part right here is funny as shit, and I'm glad it didn't make the show. All right, you go ahead.
Well, the funny part is, she asks you, so Donnie comes out with this real eloquent answer.
Yeah, she comes to me.
It's beautiful. You go down, with the whole thing, and then as soon as he gets through talking, we didn't hear you, we didn't get you. So this whole answer he just gave was gone.
Yeah, I don't think I had technical problems. I think I had more technical problems because she heard me in the beginning,
yeah,
and then she didn't hear me on that answer.
Can you say it again?
Yeah, and it wasn't as eloquent as I said it.
Then it turns into this, and if you live local, you'll know. It's just hilarious.
Yeah, I got into talking about...
Donnie says, well, Nancy, here you go. You go down 18 there. You go down there up that hill past that sign and take a left. Go down and take a left. Down, what's the damn name of that road? New Post Road? Post Road, what's the name?
Yeah, 180.
180. Yeah, 80. So you go down 18 there and you take a left on 180. You go down
stoplight.
Go through that stoplight. You go on down there to where we got that brand new roundabout. You go around that roundabout about a quarter ways, and you turn to the right, and you go down there where Spake's Christmas tree, Spake's Christmas tree lot. Where they sell the strawberries.
Yeah,
It's seasonal,
It's a seasonal place.
Oh my God!
And I'm so dang glad I didn't
I was rolling. I couldn't. And of course, I'm countrying it up a little bit, but
I'm so dang glad I didn't make the show.
Oh, it was. You just looked at me like you could die.
Oh yeah, like Lord, and I dreaded this episode coming out, knowing that was going to be on there.
Oh
But
my
luckily,
gosh.
they took that part out.
Oh.
And the first time I said it was really good,
It was.
and I don't remember what I said, and I just tried to redo it, and I was like, crap.
You go down there and you round.
And then there was another funny time.
Oh.
It was serious. Nancy, bless her heart, was talking about Ace degree.
She's talking like Quilla.
Yeah, and
Oh
her
yeah, just getting into her mother.
getting into the emotional part of it.
Oh, God, yeah.
You could see Nancy tears welling up in her eyes.
Yeah, she was digging it deep.
Oh yeah, and she went to Karen Stark for a question. And it's no disrespect to
Nobody.
Ace's family or anything. It's just part of the show. What happened on the show? And
Now this is a pretty long, drug out, emotional thing that
Yeah.
Nancy.
she's
dug up
giving
here.
she's giving a soliloquy here. It's some heavy-hearted stuff she's talking about. One mom to another mom.
Yes, exactly.
And she goes to Karen Stark for this question. And after Nancy's given this big, long spiel, heartfelt, just emotional, tears welling up in her eyes, she goes to Karen Stark, and Karen says, "What did she say?"
Oh, the look on Nancy's face was priceless.
Yeah. And she started to come out with it again. She said, "Just tell her what I said."
Well, But she tried to do it again. She didn't hear. And then the producer actually comes over
Holding his apple, yeah.
and says, she really wants to know, and then whatever the question was after that big long thing. And then finally it's just like, she was just fed up with it.
Yeah.
Oh, but that goes back to that damn technical problems they were having, because Karen was having a hard time hearing her. She was having a hard time hearing us.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
It was just, yeah.
It was funny.
It was hilarious.
I would love to do it again. We'll be much better if they ever have us back.
After my answer, they probably won't have us back. Me and Nancy be, Karen, what the heck did you send me?
Who's these country bumpkins?
Oh, yeah.
You're buying strawberries at the Christmas tree.
Yeah. Well, it's a seasonal place right there across the road.
It's seasonal, damn it. It's seasonal.
Yeah.
It's a t-shirt right there. It's seasonal.
It's seasonal. But the Holden that put the episode together, he done a really good job, I have to admit.
Yeah. It was
He took that one part out, and I'm so thankful for that.
You couldn't breathe till it came out. Could
Oh,
you?
man, I was scared. I was scared to death.
Anytime you looked at me, I'd say, well, Nancy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
But that was
That was a great time.
a good experience, man. No doubt about it.
Thank you, Karen, for helping us get on there. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, Lordy. That's
Yeah.
funny.
But there was, you mentioned some other good people that were on there.
Yes.
And those folks are very knowledgeable. And I'd like to get the FBI guy that was on there. He was a lead FBI agent on that time.
Rick Schaefer.
Yeah, I'd like to get him on the show and talk to him sometime.
Well, call him up.
Yep. And then after all that calmed down with Nancy Grace, phew, we did an episode on Bernie Tita
Mm-hmm.
and Marjorie Nugent.
Yes.
Yeah. Bernie was he was a local guy there where Marjorie was from, and he worked at the funeral home, and he just befriended Marjorie.
Yeah, he did, kind of as a caregiver in a way.
Yeah. But he ended up murdering Marjorie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some people think it was for her money because she left him everything in her will.
Yeah, I don't know if it was for all that money. I just think, well, I don't really know. Kind of like he had enough, because she was not an easy person to get along with.
He had to shave her legs and trim her toenails and stuff, and yeah, that'd be pretty rough. Yeah.
Well, I think she was more mean than that. I don't think he shot her because he had to shave her legs.
Yeah, but yeah, she was
Sound a little rough there.
she was mentally abusive to him. Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah, but
Well, she was an older lady, and she's super wealthy, and she probably been. Well, I don't know the lady. I'm just saying she probably been a little abusive.
but they did make a movie about
Abrasive.
that.
How about that? She's a little abrasive. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, but like I said, they made a movie about that called Bernie, played by Jack Black.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it. It's a pretty good movie.
Pretty good flick.
Kind of a dark comedy
Right.
kind of thing. Then we got back on the 8th degree train. We interviewed a local attorney,
Yes.
Frank McFarland.
Well, what a good show that was.
Yeah, it really was a good show. Frank's got a TikTok. Go check it out. We got into the search warrant and his thoughts on the search warrant. Go check that episode out. It's 231. Frank's a good guy. He's local. He's an attorney.
And he does a lot of work for the H degree case, or a lot of digging on it. Well, not for it, but for his own. His own project.
Yeah.
Side project.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's got a pretty significant TikTok. You can go check out that TikTok channel.
Yes.
Then we had another local case here.
Mm-hmm.
It's an unsolved murder from right here in where we're from, Cleveland County, down around the Kings Mountain area. It's a rest stop that used to be down on I-85 that cuts through the corner of Cleveland County. And this is a guy named Chuck Porter. He was murdered at work
Right.
one morning. He was shot in a closet. There was a couple guys that murdered him, and then they left, and it's never been solved.
No.
No, it's never.
That's been a long time ago.
Yeah. Then we got into Caitlin Markham. But Caitlin, she was a 21-year-old college student that vanished from her townhouse there in Fairfield, Ohio. This was in August of 2011. And Caitlin's remains were found 20 months later in Cedar Grove, Indiana.
Oh, this one where her fiance killed her.
Yeah.
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 And tried to play it off.
He did.
That's where the friend come over, and she just sat there, and they were trying to say that they were doing mushrooms or whatever, and just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we came back to North Carolina on the case. This is Madalena Kojikari.
Yes.
We interviewed a couple of ladies who wanted to be anonymous on this, and I totally respect their wishes.
Mm-hmm.
They've taken a deep dive in Madalena, and Madalena is still missing from right here in North Carolina from Cornelius over there near Lake Norman.
Yep. Why her mother run back off to
Ukraine or somewhere overseas.
wherever she's at, yeah.
Back living her life. So hopefully something will be solved with that. I think the police are and the authorities are working on that case, just behind the scenes.
It's
Yeah.
such a weird story.
Yeah. And then we did a episode on Cindy Song.
Mm-hmm.
This girl went missing.
It's a Halloween thing. Huh?
It is a Halloween thing. She was dressed up as a rabbit, I think.
Yes.
And she had, was born in South Korea but moved to Virginia to live with some relatives to, I guess, to have some better educational opportunities. But she went missing on Halloween of 2001 after a costume party.
Yep.
Yeah, but she was never seen again.
It's kind of wild.
It is.
Really.
But go check that out. That's episode 235. Then we got into the Toolbox Killer. Oh, yeah.
Tell you what.
Well, actually, the Toolbox Killers, there were two of them.
Yes.
Yeah, they were some bad dudes, man.
Yeah, between this one, the scorecard killer, and the dude in the van.
Yeah. This is
Wild Bill or whatever.
Yeah.
Not Wild Bill, but
Bill Bonin. Yeah, this was Lawrence Bittaker and Roy Norris.
Yeah.
These two guys, man, they were going around picking up young girls, and what was crazy, they would just scout out places looking for girls and then test the waters and see if anybody would get in the van with them, just give them a ride, just see if they would get in there with them.
Practice runs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they finally got into kidnapping and torturing girls.
And then they would record it on a cassette tape.
Yeah, the audio part of it.
Yeah, and then he would ride around and listen to it in the van like it was music.
Yeah. And these tapes are used by the FBI now to desensitize agents
Right.
in the field to get them used to this kind of stuff, this stuff that goes on. It was that gruesome. Can't even imagine, bud. Then we got into a lady that went missing by the name of Jennifer Dulos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was a New Haven, Connecticut lady. Very wealthy lady, came from a very wealthy family. She had married a guy that was building homes. He was a developer.
Professional water skier guy?
Yeah, his name was Fotis Dulos. And Jennifer went missing. He was, I think, having an affair, and he was seen around town dumping stuff in trash cans.
Yeah, and then drains or whatever.
Yeah, and different things. And Fotis actually ended up taking his own life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Stuck a hose from the tailpipe
into his car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never went to justice on that. But the woman that he was having an affair with, I think she has went to prison and serving some time for this, of helping him. Because she was seen on surveillance camera getting out of the truck or sticking her head out of the truck.
Right. She was in there with him.
Yeah, she was.
She might have known what was going on, but
Yeah.
she probably did.
She said she didn't, but I'm pretty sure she did.
It's
Yeah.
kind of hard to believe.
Yeah. And then we were contacted by a lady by the name of Michelle Rosen.
Mm-hmm.
This was episode 238, the Tylenol murders.
Unsealed.
Yeah, this lady was sent to us through a recommendation of the True Crime Broads.
Yes.
But Michelle Rosen, this lady, she is a warrior, man.
Said that right.
Yeah, I even think I even mentioned that. I called her a badass warrior. But she is, her mother was one of the Tylenol murder victims. And she's taken it upon herself to constantly research this case and finding out flaws in the Johnson & Johnson system.
To see where this really came from.
Yeah, where where it came from, instead of it being a local guy going around.
A madman changing out pills.
Yeah.
Yeah. She don't really buy that.
No, she believes it was an inside job from Johnson & Johnson. And kudos for her to keep researching this case. And I hope to wish her well, and I hope that we can have her back on the show if she finds out anything. And
Oh, definitely friend of the show. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, she texts me pretty regular on some different things.
Yeah, she's tough.
Oh, yeah. Then we got into a Thanksgiving murder.
Yes.
This was a guy by the name of Joel and Lisa Guy. The family, there was parents, they had a son, and the son was Joel Guy Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And he was living off his mom. She worked a job, and all her paycheck went to him.
Yeah, and he was 28.
Living his life way out of town. He was living in Louisiana.
He's paying for him to go to school, paying for his apartment, for his gas, for his insurance. He's paying for everything. Groceries.
Yes.
He never ever had a job.
But his parents, Joel and Lisa, they were wanting to retire. They were getting on up in age, and they were wanting to retire, man. And they were going to cut him off.
Yes.
Cut off his funds. And they knew, well, he knew that they had some money and inheritance that would be coming to him. So he went and murdered them.
You tried to speed that up a little bit,
He
didn't
was speeding up the process. But he went to prison. He's never getting out.
Good.
He was caught, yeah. Then went up to north of the border.
Nova Scotia.
Yeah. Gabriel Wortman.
Or in Canada.
Yeah, he was the mass shooter there in Nova Scotia. This guy, he went on a rampage. And I told you, he even reminded me of the Killdozer guy, the mentality part over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a way, I can see that. Except for this dude's just driving around shooting random people instead of bulldozing their property.
Yeah. I think he was killing people that didn't want to sell them their property at one time. Or
anybody he thought in his mind had wronged him for one reason or another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Killdozer guy in a way.
Yeah.
But he had these police cars. I had one that was a fake police car, but it looked just like the real thing.
Oh, yeah. The real thing, the old decals, everything.
Yeah.
And he had the uniform, the whole works.
Yeah, and people thought he was a police officer. And when they'd come out and get help, he would gun them down.
Yeah. Help me. Bam.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's episode 241, Gabe Wortman.
241.
Yeah, man.
And then 242.
Yeah.
Man, how fun was that?
This was awesome. We were invited to South Point High School.
Yes.
By the forensic science class there, the teacher there, and she invited us down, and we went and spent a half a day with them.
And it was a blast.
We talked to 2 classes. Now, this is episode 242, and these classes, man, they're studying the Ace degree case. And that's their thing. They're in on it. And they wanted to ask about Ace degree, and then they asked about other things about our podcast, how we got started. And we just had a good conversation with these 2 classes. And they were so graciously to serve us lunch, and we got to spend some time with them and have a good time.
It was. We appreciate Jennifer Sanders for inviting us down for that. It was a blast. It really was.
Yeah, it's awesome. Got to meet some cool folks and fans of the show.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. Then we got into a North Carolina case, episode 243, Milton Sawyer. Old Milton had that antique store there in
the treasure hunter.
Yeah, Elizabeth City, and his wife was having an affair with her therapist, and she was wanting to speed things up, get rid of Milton, and they planned out a home invasion to have Milton killed.
Yeah, they was doing a whole different kind of acupuncture, wasn't they?
Yeah. But they were both caught, and the guy she was having an affair with, Isaac Melcher, he did go to prison, but he had a deal, and he got 20 years, but he will eventually get out. But Angel, even though she didn't commit the crime, she was the mastermind behind it.
Oh, yeah.
And she serving life in prison without parole.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's done.
She's a manipulation master is what she is.
Yeah, she's actually down there in Anson County Prison, North Carolina. That's where the lady, the stepmom from Zara Baker is imprisoned. Yeah, Elise Baker.
Elise, yeah.
Yeah, she's in prison there. And then our last episode we did of 2024, this was the murder of Ed and Minnie Morin. Yeah, this elderly couple, man, living their life in their golden years, had the Christmas tree farm.
Yeah, like our Hallmark movie, turned dark.
It really was.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they was inviting some church people over to have a Christmas get-together, luncheon.
Yep.
Yeah, and when they got there, they weren't
Nobody was
there.
home, right?
Yeah, these 2 guys took it upon themselves to kidnap them and murder them for $8,500.
Yep.
Yeah, they found their bodies, and luckily one of them was found and apprehended. The other one had passed away.
It was crazy, wasn't it? Because, they were only 50-something, but damn, they looked so old in them photos where they called.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they'd had a hard life, man. Yeah.
I reckon.
Because when they got to the guy there in Alaska, they went to Alaska and tracked him down. Yeah, he looked just like he was 90 years old, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. But that is pretty much a recap of our year of 2024. We've had some good episodes, talked to some good people, made some good friends.
For sure, sure. 100%.
Yeah, it's been awesome. And we've got a good year for 2025 planned out. At least starting with anyway. Some things we're wanting to do. So if anybody has any recommendations they want us to do, please reach out to us. You can email us and contact us on our Facebook pages. We have a Crack House Chronicles, and we have a Fans of Crack House Chronicles Facebook page. Usually when me and Dale post on one, it goes over to the other one. We
post to both.
Yeah, so people in both places will see it. But, join up with both of them. Pretty cool stuff. A lot of good people on there that comment, and reach out to us. We enjoy it a whole bunch.
Yeah, it's fun.
And we'll remind everybody, too, you can go to our store page. We have some cool merch on there, some T-shirts, hoodies that you can get. There's caps on there now. You can get some mugs. So some good merch on there.
Good stuff, man.
Yep. Any last words you want to mention, Dale, for 2024 before we get going?
No, I'm just thinking this has been a hell of a year. I appreciate you, everything you do, man. You bust your butt in here and get this stuff done and listenable.
It's like I said, it's a labor of love.
Yeah, man.
I enjoy it and hope to continue this thing going.
It's big fun, man. It's big fun.
Yeah, I enjoy it. All right, bud. This is the end of 2024. It's our last episode going into 2025.
That's right.
Yep.
The one after this will be brand new.
Yep. We hope everybody has a good 2025 and a prosperous year, and just be safe out there. Always be aware of your surroundings and watch out for each other.
Because the next episode could be about you.
This is the Crack House Chronicles.